Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. This is a video response to Simon from Hermit's Cave. It's the tarot tag, the TarotTubersAtoZ tag. I'll be reading the questions off of my phone, and I do have a couple of questions where I pulled out more than what the question was asking for decks. So I hope that's okay. So my age is 25. My favorite book is The Druid's Daughter by Jocelyn A. Fox. I really love that she has a perspective on generally the female and the male role, because she has a Paladin series where it's the Fae War Chronicles, and then The Druid's Daughter is a newer series where it goes through the process of the girl coming into becoming a bear because the other one dies, and then she's the new bear right after that. There's a little bit of romance in it, but I do like how it concentrates on her focusing on what she needs to do. See, career you wanted to be when you were a kid and what it actually is now. So when I was younger, I used to watch a lot of Gilmore Girls, and I would tell my parents that I wanted to be a lawyer like Rory. Now I'm more aware of what I love, and I love what I do. So I'm a couple of things. Well, I went to college and school for a couple of things. I'm a licensed bartender, I'm an herbalist with certifications in herbalism, and I'll be a master herbalist after I receive my degree in herbal studies. Those are the main things. So, letter D, dream. My dream is to expand my online shop and for it to be partially an apothecary shop. My essential item for E is my 2 pieces or 3 pieces of jewelry. So this necklace has hair from my late cat, Kiki, and she's also my first familiar. These 2 rings are my wedding rings, and they're important to me because for the reason of being married, and also because I was proposed to up north in the middle of winter, and we moved down south, where my husband is from, and I got a couple of reactions from my body, but one of them was that my skin was getting swollen. So for a while I was getting other rings to compensate for not wearing my main ring, but I love my main rings. So I ended up getting them resized this year, and I know it was last year, and I'm so happy that I get to wear them again. Favorite Rider-Waite-Smith decks. I chose a couple, so I tried to narrow them down to technically 5, but the 5th one is in another category too, so I'll save that one and I'll mention it. So I have 2 more of Rider-Waite-Smith clones. So the first one is the Philly Tarot, and as soon as I saw the deck, I knew that I wanted to get it. And aside from looking at a deck to see if it's a pip deck or not, which I don't mind pip decks, but I do prefer looking at the art because I love the artwork in decks. It's one of the main things of what draws me into getting one. So for those of you who don't know, I was born in Philly, but I was raised in South Jersey and New England. So I still feel like this really connects to me because I have gone to Philly many times. And it does have historical value to it. There is associations with Philly, but there's also the part where it talks about history. And it has some celebrities in here too. Like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and The Fresh Prince. I love how there's hoagies in here. And it just has nostalgia because in South Jersey, so this is the Eagles team, South Jersey and North Jersey are divided when it comes to sports. So South Jersey associates sports or associates themselves with sports from Philly, and then North Jersey does with New York mainly. It's definitely a choice. And Benjamin Franklin's in here. And even the quills for maybe the Declaration of Independence. I don't use this deck a lot, but I just love having it because it really takes me back. And even has Rocky in here. It's the strength card, and I was born in Center City. And you can see in the backs how it's the suits. Another Rider-Waite-Smith clone is one that I've had for over 5 years, and I'm saying that because I did get recent copies of them. I got one as a gift where it kept the wording, and then I got another one that I purchased. It was the one that is untrimmed. But I really wanted to reconnect to my Druidcraft because after I trimmed my copy, I felt that the energy felt imbalanced, and with the white from here and then the dark brown, it just was a bit I want to say a bit extreme for me in contrast. So I'm so happy that yesterday I decided to edge them in this, I would say, rustic gold, and it just brought the whole deck together. And the reason why I wanted to keep using my deck is because I feel like the color in the cardstock really changed. I mean, I suppose not too much, but mine is more vibrant, and you can see more coloration like in the sky and in the maybe rosiness in the skin tones on some of them. And mine feels like it has, or it looks like it has more depth in color. And I compared the 3 decks in a video where I did a flip through. So I don't think it's just because it's trimmed. I think that it's the cardstock and the color that changed over the years. So I'm so happy that I get to use this again. I refer to this as my Mighty Oak deck. It's just such a dominating presence. And I am considering it putting into my Council of 7 because I have used this a lot over the years. And it's just like one of those solid reading decks for me. So I'll see. I have 2 non-traditional Rider-Waite-Smith decks that I'm showing. The first one is my deck, and my deck isn't released yet. It's the Earth Fairy Tarot, and this is my Lake Cat Kiki from my deck list. So it has a textured linen cardstock. It's associated with the Fae, Celtic, animals. It's dedicated to the Morgan. There's even an Ogham in here too. And what I love is that I included my loved ones in here, so it's some of my friends and family in here. I'm not on every card, but I'm on a couple of cards. So my pets are in here. This is one of my cats, Gary, nicknamed Gary from HR. He's a tuxedo cat. And the sword suit really kind of goes into the Fae specifically, because with the sword suit it associates with air, and when I think of air, I think about the humanness of the zodiac for the air signs, but I translated it into Fae. So there are some specific Fae in here. And I just love it. And I hope people respond well to it. And I didn't put any gilding on it because I felt like this would reserve best if you were to use it multiple times over the years. And my second non-traditional is the Osho Zen. And Mary Grace gave me this bag. I love it. I feel like it fits it so well. And it's really unique because it lays down instead of sitting up. So I love the Osho Zen. I really associate it with the Rider-Waite-Smith. And I don't feel like it's much of a stretch. I think it's more what you associate based off of the symbolism and maybe your beliefs and philosophically, psychologically. It just makes sense to me. This isn't my first copy. I actually gave my copy to somebody that I read to a couple of times with this. And it's one of those heavy-hitting decks, too, that it just responds so well, and I know it so well, so when it's in a reading, there's a flow to it. And I do that a lot with my other deck, which feels like a storytelling deck too. It's the Everyday Witch Tarot, which I was a bit surprised of how strongly I connected to it. But it makes sense of why I connected to it. So I'll talk about that deck in the other category. I kind of wanted to include my round deck too, because I don't have a round deck in this video, but I'll just make a mention for the Circle of Life and the Daughters of the Moon. Those are the two main ones that I really love using. So gold or silver. So this is specific for me, but I usually do silver jewelry that's not around my face. So for my earrings, it doesn't matter as much of whether it's gold or silver. But for my face, since I have two nose rings, I don't want it too noticeable, so I have gold. H height, 5'2", ideal day. Ideal day would be tarot, crocheting, knitting, doing artwork, finishing off my decks, learning about herbs, and I really love specific systems for my herbal studies. So that's, if I could fit it in a day, I would. Funniest joke is, I was telling Mary Grace about this one. So if you guys know the Saw movie, you know that it's not like this at all. So it was from a TV show, and one of the characters were saying, I thought Saw was a movie about carpentry. And the first time I read that, I actually laughed really hard with that. And I'm not really one to laugh a lot. I mean, I guess I'll chuckle a bit, but that was super funny for me. Kids, I don't have any. Living arrangements, I live with my husband and my cats and dogs. Marseille deck, I have one Marseille deck that I use. It's the Marshmallow Marseille. So I'm not sure if they're different in cardstock, if they redid them. I got mine used. I just love the colors of this one. It's really approachable for me, and it keeps my eyes peeled in a way where, as I said, I do prefer artwork in my decks. So this feels like a home deck to me, though, because I do like, with my other decks, I kind of think outside the box for some of it too, and it definitely feels abstract to me in a way. Not sure if that's the right word to use for it, but that's how I kind of see Marseille. And another word is expansion. These shuffle really well. I said that and I dropped the cards. So I got the Wheel of Fortune. Nicknames? I don't really have nicknames. I feel like my first name isn't one that you can condense that well. But I have had people call me by my last name. So for oracles, I technically have 5, but I put 2 of them together. So the 2 that I put together are the Forest and Ocean Oracle. They feel like home to me because I'm not currently in the Northeast, and this is just, it makes me feel so much better when I use these decks. So they're from the same creator, Brian and Briar. The cardstock is beautiful in the artwork or the photography. The words suit the cards well. The Ocean Oracle has more cards than the Forest Oracle. But fall is my favorite season. One of the reasons is because I'm a Libra, but I love just the colors. It's so beautiful when I see it up north. And even winter, I love winter. I prefer being cold than being in the heat. Another deck that I responded so well, and it's been a long time since I responded this well to a deck, is the Goddess Dream Oracle by Wendy Andrews. Andrew? Sorry. I'm so happy that I got this deck. I was told by my goddess not to order it because I'm not ordering mass-produced decks online right now. And if I were to, I actually have the Slavic Tarot coming in, so I was wondering if I should wait off till I received that deck to see if I was going to include it, because I knew I was going to love it. But I'm happy that I'm doing this tag. So it definitely feels like a spring deck to me, and I feel like I'll use it year-round though, with the backs. I love the rich colors. The symbolism speaks to me. For me, it feels Celtic. I remember Mary Grace was saying it reminds her of Slavic artwork. And I feel like it really gives you a deep message that is, in a way, if you were to dream and then you see a symbol in your dream and you would interpret it. That's what I feel like this deck does. Because it has rooted meaning into it. And it is such a kind deck. But it's a powerful one. You can be kind and powerful. And I love how the Morgan's in here too, because I usually look out for that. And I love how there isn't names on the cards for the deities. So, this is a specific one. This is the one that I recently got. It's the Tree Angel Oracle deck, The Ancient Path to the into the Sacred Grove, by Fred Hangenegger and illustrated by Anne Hang. So, I read that this is a German deck. But I love how it connects the angels to trees, because I have a couple of angel decks, but I don't use them a lot because I don't really work with angels. But with this deck, I love getting my daily draws from it, or using this regularly if it's not a daily draw. I'm so glad that I respond well to this, because I really do want to work with angels more. So associating them with nature is definitely a plus for me. And I'm surprised with the Tree Angel Oracle that it's, well, not that surprised, because it is associated with more groundedness in earth and not as ethereal, because with it, I feel like it's definitely more of a blunt deck with the meanings in the book. And I do feel like that with one of the main tarot decks that I have for my angels. It's the Watch Your Angels Tarot. It's created by a psychic that I watched her on a TV show when I was younger, and I was kind of like, I was really excited, and it was a gift from my dad because I asked for it. But the Watcher Angels are the ones that came down to Earth to find love. So it does have a humanness, and it does have a groundedness to it. So my final deck that I'm showing for oracles is the Magical Unicorns Oracles. I still use my Doreen Virtue decks. The ones that I have, I really love. And I just connect with the interpretations that she has and the keywords and the imagery. I feel like it works well together. I don't own her. I have one tarot deck that I have, but I trimmed it because I didn't want the full translation on here, on her deck, but I do like that there's a sentence there. My other ones don't have them, but I love them just as much. So this deck is one that I use for my monthly readings because I respond really well, and I keep saying that my other deck that I'm going to be showing is one that I'm using for monthly readings. It actually gave me the okay to do my monthly readings again because the deck that I was using mainly is one that I don't have anymore. So when I got it, I just knew that that's what I wanted to use. I didn't notice that my tapestry was crooked. Sorry. But this is actually a tarot cloth that I put up to cover my clothes. So I'm passionate about tarot and herbs. Those are the two main things. I love animals. So things surrounding that is what I usually go for. I love Celtic stuff and the Morgan, being family oriented, staying true to myself. Quote. The only one that comes to mind is the one that I thought of a while ago that still sticks with me. It's to be one with the Ascended Masters is to be one with oneself. So that's when I thought about it, it was when I was reading the Osho Zen. Relationship status, I'm married. Season, fall or winter. Tarot, first and last. This is where it comes up. So I don't have my first tarot deck, but I did read a Tarot de Marseille deck. So I just have the Marshmallow Marseille to show. For my first Rider-Waite-Smith, I got it around the time it first came out. So my high school best friend had her dad visit from Ireland, and he actually went to Georgia where this deck was in a local metaphysical shop, and it's the Dame Darcy. I have the second and third edition, not the golden edition. So the reason why I have two editions is because my best friend gave it to me and then I didn't have it for a while. So my dad got me the third edition, which has some of them are different, but I knew that I wanted to work with it again because it was special to me, and now this one's really special to me. And this one is a little bit darker. I actually picked this one up. I got lucky when I was on Etsy and I was looking through tarot decks. I saw that there was a post from the Dame Darcy shop saying that they found a basket or found a box in their warehouse with the second edition Dame Darcy's, and they had it for a discounted price, so it was a little less than what you would pay for this one. So I just got it because I was so happy that I would be able to get this deck again. So the artwork is 2012, so I did get it about that time. But I did read Marseille for a couple years before getting these decks. And my last tarot deck that I got is the Everyday Witch Tarot. And I held off on that for a while, for the time it came out to now. There's a couple of reasons why I feel like I respond so well to it. It's because the artwork is Northeastern artwork, because the artist is from New England. and I just look at the images and I feel like I have experienced it, and it brings me back memories, and I love it for that. The backs have a cat, and it reminds me of my black cat, Kiki, because she had yellow eyes. Sometimes they have decks or cats with green eyes, which I love cats in general, but I really look for that. I love the fine artwork. I definitely love the cards because the artwork just feels feminine and detailed, and you can get a lot out of it, especially when I'm doing readings. It really hones into telling a story. And what's interesting is that I feel like this deck has a bluntness to it, with the Northeastern personality in general, is what I get from it. Because it is a mean deck, but it's really upfront. Sometimes I have to watch myself when I'm reading with it because it's sometimes I'm thinking I want to say this in a better way. The archetypes are approachable. It really feels like it's an everyday deck or everyday witch. Because even with the major arcana, it kind of feels like you can experience them day to day instead of it being as major as other decks. So the Queen of Wands really caught my eye because it is more of a gentle Queen of Wands, but it's more being gentle but being fierce too, which is an amazing translation for me. And I dubbed this my New England and Salem deck. This is what it reminds me of. And crafting every day. So, big surprise. And this is the deck that made me feel like I can move on my Green Witch Tarot, because for the longest time I wanted to use the deck. But I don't know. I feel like it was, well, I do know. I feel like it kind of nice washed some of the cards, and not saying that I don't want my cards to be nice, but in a way where I felt like it didn't connect to me with life experience and everyday, with reading and everyday experience. So for you, what upsets you most is probably dishonesty. And sometimes I feel like with certain situations where sometimes I don't think people mean to me, so I really appreciate that, but it can happen where they either just stop talking to me, or they take a while to tell me the truth, or they really go out of their way to say it in a way. So I feel like as long as you're respectful and nice about the truth, it's going to be okay. Which, for V, which are you the most proud of, or vlog are you the most proud of, and which is your most popular? I don't really have them, and for some of my videos I put vlog because I may have had my pets in there and they were doing stuff, and maybe my husband was in there. I did do one specifically where I took you guys on a journey of some stuff that I did, so that was kind of fun. My weakness? Probably buying decks. So, after my Slavic Tarot is coming in, I am going to take a break on buying decks. Plus, I have my trade and sale video that I'm doing in May, so I want to get ready for that too. I don't want to keep building up my collection, but at the same time I can clear out some stuff too, but I don't want to do a lot of decks at once. I want to do an approachable amount for me, so I am not going to be sending to a lot of places, and I might extend it depending on the depth of the virus. X-rated. Tell us something naughty you've done. The only thing that comes to mind is me buying decks, and sometimes I'm like, ah, man, I'm gonna stop it here. And that's what I felt like the last deck. Well, for the Slavic Tarot, I used up my remaining holiday money that my parents gave me, so that's it for me right now. Yesteryear, your favorite year so far and why? Um, Even though there's a lot of things that's happening this year, I feel like this year's like my major year because my deck is being released. I also have my Ogum deck being created right now, and it's almost done. And I'll be finally a Master Herbalist this year too. What do you do to relax slash or stay calm? The stuff that I mentioned for my ideal day. Especially reading cards and knitting are the two main things. And even crocheting too. But I feel like I do knitting more for relaxing. So thank you guys so much. I hope this was an interesting video. Thank you, Simon, for making this video. I'll see you guys in sorry, I keep repeating myself. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.